Well, hello everybody. I hope everybody's doing good tonight. Dina is late. She was supposed to be up here, but she's been working with her dad at the barn all day. I'm gonna muddle through this as good as possible, or as well as possible, as my English professor would have told me. But I've had a real bad headache all day long, and there's some names in tonight that I don't even know if I can pronounce. They're Hispanic names, but y'all help me out. I would appreciate it. We were going to have some guests on here that Red Jaguar had recommended, but um, they can't be on here tonight. So um, we are going to feature them next week if they can manage to get online. And it also depends on where we're going to be. We're trying to get the RV fixed, and we just ran into some. If you saw our live stream last night, we ran into some. Just seemed like one thing after another, but we'll go with that. One thing is I wanted to tell you about on here is Michael Vaughn. There's been a little update on him. They do have suspects in his abduction, but they're not naming them right now. And they're teamed up with a state trooper that I'm not sure what state they're in, but they have teamed up with a trucking company, several trucking companies, and it's called Operation Homeward Bound. And this is what they are doing, and this is one of the cases that they featured. This is Asia Wilburn or Wilbon, and they're going to put Michael Vaughn's picture and on these trucks, and I think that will generate some leads. They're working 1,000, but there's no telling what this would generate, and possibly even be able to get him home. But that's the back of the truck, what it looks like, and they're going to put these things all over the United States. And this is just one of probably 50 trucks that are going to have different missing people on them. So you're talking about a big time help in the search and for the missing. And this is actually the girl that's on the truck now. Uh, and a picture of her. And I wanted to touch base since we are talking about her. It's been over a year since she's 16 years old, went missing, left home in Kent, Washington, has not returned. So they think she might have been a runaway when she first left home, but she's since not returned. So you know yourself, she could have been human trafficked or anything else. They said here that her father said he saw her the evening of February the 12th, 2020. So it's been 2 years now. Well, it'd be a year and a half or so. Um, right before bed, and he heard his wife heard Asia moving around in the house at approximately 1 to 2 a.m. Thought she was using the bathroom when him and his wife arrived home from work following day. Apparently, they worked overnight shift. That afternoon, they called her cell phone and went straight to voicemail. Texts will not return, indicating her phone battery was either died or purposely shut off. And it prompted them to track her phone, determined it last pinged in Federal Way. Let me turn these. Hold on one second. I'll turn this banner off, and that will not block me, hopefully, from reading this. Okay. Give me just a minute. Uh, her smartphone last pinged Federal Way Transit Center. Focused on the search in that area. No sign are present or found. Um, you know, things like this. You're not sure. She might have got out and got with somebody that groomed her In fact, there's a new movie that we're going to talk about in just a minute. The let's see. No, that's not what it is. 1 second here. All right, there it remains. They still got hope for finding her. Said it's been a year, and this now it's been 2 years. Um, they are put her out there on these trucks, and I just think it would just be awesome if they find a lot of missing people because of these trucks. Um, 1 second here. Uh, mm, they said, her parents said, I feel like she left home. She wasn't in good headspace mentally and just went out for a walk. None of her clothes are missing. The only thing she took with her is her phone and her house keys. Um, they were disturbed. They put flyers up on February the 15th. They reported that Asia was last seen on Federal Way at 9:30 a.m. Her loved ones focused on that area, but they could not find her. Last year, investigators hit a standstill. Will, it's her last name is Wilbon. Said they hadn't heard from detectives assigned to the daughter's case in 9 months. I'm gonna tell you something. These police departments, they need to, if nothing else, touch base with them. Call them and touch base with them. That one big missing person case that I worked, that it really kind of left me with um, I don't know, left me with really a cared for missing. Uh, I called them every single day and tried to see if they had any updates on them of the missing person, or whatever. I call them every single day, and I have to say it was a little bit more um, of a newer case, but we had things going on, and I told y'all once before. We had OnStar was in the car. This guy was the missing OnStar was in the car, and we asked OnStar to track them, but we asked them not to say anything to them. And you know what OnStar did? They hit the OnStar button, and OnStar comes back and said, the police are worried about you. Are you okay? Well, you know what he does? He gives that car away. $40,000, $50,000 car, just walks down and hands the keys to somebody on Bourbon Street and said, "Hey, this is your car." And because he was having a mental lapse, he was not well, and that's why I say I don't know what the problem is with OnStar in this case. But there's nothing we could do about it. That they had their own business. Um, but we'll go and we'll look at that. Was just one thing. I mean, you think about that. I think too, on the sides of cars, you pull up a side one, there'll be people reading this parked anywhere. They're just giant billboards. I'm hoping, and that's why I was looking at the back of it. I was hoping to see something on the back too, because that's where you're more likely to see them when you're running up behind them. I mean, I've seen smaller ads on the back of the trucks before, missing people like on milk cartons, but on the side they will get a lot of people's attention. Parked at truck stops, parked along the roadway, parked at rest areas. It's going to generate hundreds of leads in a lot of cases, and hopefully, they'll find a lot of these people out here. I think that it was a state trooper, a female state trooper, that thought of this and worked it up to get it going. So man, I just can't say enough about that. Want to touch too on this case here. The Louisa, uh, you read it, Fontes. Okay, she has not been seen. Now it's probably close to but Ventures with a Purpose had been working this case, and they went out and searched. This August the 7th, I think, was when she was last seen. Yes, August the 7th. They went out, searched the water area where her phone last pinged, and they have ruled her car as being not being in the lake. And I read where they continued up the road to another lake, another area, shore, lake area that she had been before with friends. They checked that area and she was not there either. So, you know, and those guys, as we have seen, know what they're doing, and they have not found her. So that opens up, I think, a bigger can of worms, because now we just don't know where she's at. But her card right here too is the gray or silver Hyundai accent with California plates, and it gives it right there. 8 Mike Papa uniform 766, and so that would be the key to finding her, is finding her car, because there may be evidence in the car that leads back into finding her. Um, I heard one of the YouTubers today, they're saying that she had an argument with somebody at a party and left, and then called her brother. But I don't know. That was the first time thing I'd heard, so I don't know. But finding her car will give is probably the most evidence that can be accumulated. Now, this group, this ones that we hope to have in next week, um, have said they wanted to come on and tell about a missing person that they've done a lot of work on. And this is the missing person. I think she's been missing for 6 years now. But we're not going to discuss it because I didn't gather much information on that. But this is her right here. And if you want to look at the name there and kind of prepare yourself for next week on that, we're going to let them come on and tell what they know. I don't know if they're friends with this family, or maybe they've went out and checked this area, but they're an RV group also. And I've looked at their RV page and it doesn't have anything about her on it. So, but I'm gonna let them tell about it, and I don't want to really say who they are yet until we be sure that they're coming on. Uh, but we are gonna afford them the opportunity to come on and see if they can they can shed some light on her disappearance. Uh, we want to play a couple of videos tonight. One is, if I still, well, I thought I had it in here. I told you I've had a real bad headache today, and I thought I added it. Let me see if I can add it now. I could have sworn I added it. Yeah, I thought I did. I'll add it again here. It won't take but a second. And it's a, I'm not sure. I'm gonna tell you. I normally think that where you're black, white, or Hispanic, you get the same treatment by police as far as a missing person. But I'm not 100% sure that's the case, because just like the Gabby Petito and the last case there, Kaylee, you know, they had national news media. It was on ABC News, everything. And yet, the last one we talked about, that uh, uh, the one we just talked about, I have seen some information on TV about her, but it's not as much as you would think. And I have seen uh, nothing on this lady other than what I found on the internet. And the fact is how this investigation has kind of been handled, and I want to talk about that in a few minutes too. But this is a Hispanic woman that I believe she's Hispanic. I think she is, and she came up missing. She was got on videotape where running video captured her walking down the road, and all of a sudden she took off running like something scared her. But later on, they saw her willfully, what they said, get into a car. So instead of still putting it out there, hey, she's missing, do it, they put it out there, hey, we have discontinued searching for her because it appears she had willfully gotten in the car. And I think that's a bad thing because you don't know if she willfully got in the car with a gun pointed at her, or she willfully got in the car with a gun pointed at a friend, or they told her, look, we're going to go and take care of your whole family, or we're going to do this, we're going to go hurt somebody. There's no telling why she got in the car. But for the most part, don't give up the search and don't put it out there, hey, I mean, it was all over the internet. We've discontinued the active investigation on it. But now they've came back today, I think, and they've said, no, that's not quite like it is, that we still show her as missing and we're going to pursue it. But they're not really investigating it like I would have hoped they would do for this girl. But I'm going to
We want to
play
get to our
this
missing story tonight. It's a mystery. Did a mother from Illinois drop everything and leave her 3 kids, or did something else, something sinister happen to her that is now keeping her from her family? It has been 10 days since Juana Arellano-Garnica was last seen, and her family is becoming more and more worried about her by the hour. 32-year-old Juana Arellano-Garnica posted almost daily on TikTok documenting her weight loss and racking up comments from admirers. On the day before she disappeared, her last post was an eerie nighttime beach scene with the words, "You did it." Yes, but at what cost? I lost everything. The next day, on August 21st, Juana reportedly left her house around 9 at night, saying she was getting a drink, but she never showed up at a nearby bar. About 2 hours later, it's believed she can be seen in this security footage, first walking and then running past a local elementary school. Police say they located another video clip from a short time later showing her getting into a car voluntarily with 2 other people inside. Through a translator, her sister insists Juana would have contacted them if she was okay.
She don't feel that she's safe because it's been so many days and she hasn't communicated, not even to her daughter.
Clinton police say it appears Juana left the area voluntarily, absent any evidence of criminal wrongdoing. But in a statement to News Nation, the chief says, we will continue to investigate any new information or leads that may lead us to Juana's whereabouts for the purpose of verifying her safety and well-being. However, future investigative efforts must balance public safety and an individual's right to privacy.
Anybody who gets a lot more attention, may be at more risk.
We asked cybersecurity expert Alex Hammerstone about Juana's online presence and what role prolific posting can play in personal safety. He says while social media platforms now strip geolocation metadata from photos and videos, the risk still becomes heightened.
When you start to share these pictures out and you get these concerted efforts to find out where someone is, generally someone's going to know where that location is just by the photo.
It is absolutely critical for all of these cases to be put out.
Gia Wright is the founder of Missing Person Awareness Network, and she says the search for Juana needs to continue until her family has answers.
There always is somebody that knows something. It is your responsibility as a human to say something.
And late today, the chief of police shared with us that Arellano-Garnica contacted her sister, but that phone call could not be authenticated and the case is still open. Chief Flowers asked that if Arellano is able to contact law enforcement wherever she might be, to please do so. And he also says that Juana is not in trouble and he will keep her location private. If you have any information on the disappearance of Juana, you can contact the Clinton Police Department at the number on your screen. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. Just because this one phone call thing, it could have been a text, could have been something else. If you're posting almost daily on TikTok and she's doing I'm going to find out exactly where she's at. You know what I mean? I'm not going to give up on this. I'm going to play you what they just released, another video. And this.
An update for you tonight. The Clinton police chief says the case into a missing woman is still open.
That's right. It's been more than a week since Juana Arellano was last seen. In a post to Facebook last week, police said she left on her own and the investigation was closed. WCIA 3's Marley Cafford joins us live from the newsroom tonight. So, Marley, you talked with the police chief today. What did he say?
Chief Ben Lauer says he may have misrepresented the situation in that Facebook post. The investigation is not closed, and it won't be until they can confirm that Arellano is safe. He told me, he wrote, the case was closed because of a lack of evidence of foul play or criminal wrongdoing. Arellano left her home around 9 p.m. the night of Sunday, August 21st. The family says video surveillance captured her running outside of the elementary school a few hours later. Her husband says police showed him video of her later getting into a car with two people who haven't been identified. Today, I spoke with Gia Wright, founder of the Missing Persons Awareness Network. She says despite a standstill in the case, she hopes someone will come forward with information so law enforcement can confirm Arellano is safe.
Please come forward, whether you're calling law enforcement, whether you're calling Crime Stoppers or us. We don't care who you are. We just want to know that she's found and safe. But talk to her and tell her that she has to talk to law enforcement. This is not going to go away just by disappearing. And in the meantime, there's a lot of people that are being hurt because they don't know where you are and they don't know that you're okay.
She says it's critical that people only post accurate information on social media to get the word out that she's still missing. The police chief says they'll look into new leads. He said, quote, future investigative efforts and tactics must be a balance of a necessity for public safety and respect of an individual's right to privacy. Tonight, I talked to Arellano's husband, Leo. He says he's sad, but is still hopeful she'll be found. He told me his family isn't trying to force her to come home. They want to just make sure that she's safe. Reporting live in the newsroom, Marley Cafford.
You know, this thing tonight is about to drive me crazy. I think she needs to go outside, but Dina's not over here, so she can't take him outside. So she's just going to have to wait a few minutes. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? But, you know, it's until because of what she did, because she was posting every day on TikTok, because she's doing all this stuff. She had all these followers, and just in her last post, you know, I'd want to have her sitting in the office there before I called everything off, not just texting or making a call. You don't know what's on the other end. Could have a gun to her head, could have been somebody else texting. You know, that's what happened to Gabby Petito case. The Brian Laundrie actually texted the mother, you know, with trying to throw everybody off. And, you know, that's why most people that are on the internet will, when they're putting out videos, will put them out 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time so that you can kind of not be in that place where people think, oh, well, I see they're at this park, and maybe some crazy would go out there and try to do something, you know. So, you know, yeah, I think she saw something that at the school or ran across the street where, I mean, she took off like a rabbit. I mean, it was by far, you know, it wasn't, and she didn't know she was being on videotape. So, you know, it was just, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, we're hoping we can get Reg Jaguar also on the panel next week. It's also another couple that he suggested that they're the ones that are doing that, but it's not actually Red Jaguar. But we hope to get him on the panel next week too. I see you're in here, but you know, I think personally, here's the thing. I think minorities in general, for the press, even though they they're not, I don't know if they don't have the what it is behind them, but they're just not represented as in the missing person community. And really, I mean, you look at Gabby Petito, man, she was on national news every other week in Tampa Bay. It was just crazy. And Kylie up there, she was really put out there, but you don't see, I mean, other than this truck thing, Asia, I never heard of her being missing before. That should have been on the news every day. She's 17 years old and or 16 years old when she was missing. And this girl, she's Hispanic. And this other girl, the one that Adventures with the Purpose with, you just don't see that on the news too much. And the indigenous people, the Indians, they're the ones that had to get out there and put their calls out to everybody and actually march and do stuff because there's just no information on the news about that. And I don't know what the reasoning is behind this. Maybe you can tell me if it is or not. Um, I don't know if the news media is just not taking it serious enough. But as you know, and I know, if somebody runs away and they stay gone more than a month or even more than a couple of weeks, and there's nobody's heard anything from them, then you got to look at what happened to them after they ran away. You know, you can have somebody that runs away and they just hiding out at their friend's house, and they usually come back within, um, a couple of days or whatever. But you have somebody that runs away and they're missing for a year. You got to look at human trafficking. You got to look at where are they at? Were they groomed? And that's another thing I was going to tell you. There is a documentary on TV, and I forgot to see where it is. I think it's Netflix. Let me see if it's Netflix. Uh, it's about they're talking about how children in school. They're examining some cases of children in school that have ran away with their teachers, but they're discussing how they get groomed while they're there. And, we talk about that. Grooming takes place not just in school, that it can happen in church, it can happen in sporting events, it can happen anywhere. I mean, you can get somebody groomed as to say they think they're in love with or they run away with their teacher and they think their teacher's in love with them. Let me see here. My wife wants me to cancel Netflix, but every once in a while, there's a show here that I like to watch. She doesn't watch a lot of them because she said there's too much violence in them. But if you have a job, you work in a job for over 30 years where violence is almost a daily thing. Um, Unfortunately, you kind of get, and then you're out of it. You tend to watch these type of shows. It may not been on. Let me see here. It may not been on here. I can't. I don't see it. We got a lot of free channels too on Roku or whatever you say. Hold on. I'm a little bit upset with Dina tonight. She was supposed to be over here helping me out here tonight, and whatever reason she is not. Huh. One second. They got all these old movies too on Netflix, like Dirty Harry movies and all kinds of stuff. It might have been on Hulu. Hold on one second. Yeah, Amber, we do too. Uh, we just have Hulu because Hulu is cheap. Netflix has gotten to be high. It's almost $20 a month. But I had at first I had got it. My son was using it, and I was just paying for it. But let's see. Oh man, me and Dina got to where we watching all of these old stuff. You know, we'll watch all the one stuff from the practice. I mean, our third watch. That was years ago, but uh I we didn't I don't remember much of it, you know. Well, I can't find where it was, but it talked about grooming kids and everything, and it was a documentary on how they groom teachers groom kids to you know uh, to think that they are in love with them and all this other kind of stuff. Let me go down a little bit further. Gracie. I I don't know why I was thinking it was on Hulu for whatever reason. Um, if I find it, I'll try to put it up there on our community page. Um, because I thought it was something that, you know, it may. I was hoping it wouldn't start buffing tonight. I actually had ran a speed check on it before we came on, and it was unbelievably speed. Chasing RV Sunshine. Y'all coming on? This is the one I was telling you that was coming on to talk about that girl that's been missing for a while. I didn't want to mention it until they'd be sure. Y'all coming on next Thursday if we're able to get y'all on to discuss about her. I want to have some information in hand before we bring it up. I did show her a picture, and and her name, so everybody would kind of be able to look at it and see if they want to familiarize herself with it. But are y'all going to be able to come on next week if we work everything out? Next on Thursday, I don't know what date that is. My dates are kind of mixed up because of the we're gonna have to go towards getting our place fixed over in Red Bay. I'm trying to find this because it was. I'll be mad if I've lost it now because I wanted to see it to gather some, information on it and, documentary type thing. But let's see. I don't know. Are y'all going to be able to come on next? It's September 8th. Okay, we still ought to be here. We're going to head over towards Red Bay on the 12th. And Chasing RV Sunshine. Okay, we can come on next Thursday. That's great. Okay. That'd be great if y'all can come and share her because, if nothing else, it needs to be put out there again. We were talking about that. A lot of these cases will just die in the cold case file, unless you have somebody bringing it back up. And there's so many cases out there that that are just forgotten. We've covered a whole lot of indigenous people and stuff like that. I'm trying to find that. I can't believe I have lost that. I have lost that movie, and I don't remember where it's at. Oh man, but it was some type of documentary on it. I'll find it. It's somewhere. It's the type of stuff they recommend for me to watch is amazing. I'll read you a couple of them on here. Panic 911, FBI, Taken, Dr. G. Murder comes to town. I mean, these are the ones that they recommend me watch. I guess they have me stuff that I've watched before, and they kind of go that first 48. And all right, here's documentaries. Just a second. Let me see if it's in here. Because it was a documentary type thing. I guess it was not on this channel. I don't know where it is. We'll find it. But I just hope that, I mean, it wasn't prevalent in where I worked before, that there was, because if they were Hispanic, Black, Asian, Indian, that you just didn't take them serious. And I think Red Jaguar could comment on this himself, but I think a lot of times law enforcement doesn't take runaways serious in itself. And it's just because I've read somewhere that maybe 95 to 98% of runaways return home within a week. So, you just, I think a lot of it is that they just don't take it seriously, and they think that, well, it's a runaway. They'll be home. In a few days. But, you can't do that nowadays with all of this human trafficking and stuff going on. You can't say they'll be home in a couple of days. If nothing else, you know, you're like when I was working with Huntsville PD in North Alabama, when I was in uniform before I went to narcotics up there, I had a certain zone that I normally worked. And my zone was, I volunteered for it because it was where everything was happening. And I wanted to be where everything was happening. I wanted where we had the calls and we had the shootings and I wanted to be there. I was young and I was new on the street, and that's what you want to do. You want to be a part of the action all the time. And my whole area was probably 4 miles one way and 2 or 3 miles the other way. So it was concentrated on a small area. So if I had a runaway in that area, I could just go and pretty much cover all the haunts where all the kids hung out, which in my area was not, unless you were a minority, it was not, you had stores and stuff where they all hung out at. But my zone was primarily all minority. It was Hispanic and Black and Asian, and it was primarily in a densely populated area. But I think in your smaller departments, and I say smaller, under say 1,000 officers or 500 officers, you could actually go out and check a lot of these places. And I know when I worked at the Gulf Coast, it could very easily be. But still, I don't think officers take runaways that serious, just because 97 to 98% of them, are come home, are contact, are found within that period of time. But we've always encouraged our parents, if they're chronic runaways or if this is something they're having problems, to go ahead and sign a petition on them and would allow us to pick them up, and would allow them to put them in the system, at least get them before judge, and the judge could maybe get them some psychological counseling and find out what the reason is. You just can't have them. I mean, you get out on the streets nowadays and they run away, they're going to maybe get into human trafficking and all kinds of other stuff. There's an age 15 and under that the danger of being a runaway is life endangerment. Endangered. How does a child under 15 provide for themselves? Well, the problem is they're being helped by older people, older teenagers, older adults that have got themselves grooming them, or they've associating themselves with older. I mean, they're hanging around with older people. I used to see kids, 13 years old, hanging around with 17, 18-year-olds, and that would just really bother me. But the parents would say, oh, no, they're just like their big sister, big brother. And, you can't tell them, well, they may be perverts or something, because then you get really, really in trouble with the boss. So you got to be very careful of what you do. Just looking here again because I think it would be a great thing for you to, if you've got some of these channels, to watch that. I wish I could find it, because I'm definitely gonna find where it was and find out, because it really explained how they groomed these kids. And it was mainly in schools, how a teacher would groom them. But I always, when we had 2 officers in our department down on the Gulf Coast that got arrested, and the way it happened is the first one he's driving around with a teddy bear in his car right behind his head over there. And I always thought that was kind of weird. But we kept a bag full of teddy bears in our trunk for if we went out on a bad wreck or mom and daddy died or a domestic and there's kids in there, we would take the teddy bear out and give it to way. I apologize. It shouldn't be buffing. Like I said, I ran a speed test before we came on, and it was really up there. But it would bring down their stress level to brought out a teddy bear. The police are not the bad guys. But I always thought it was weird that he had one in his car, and so there was he had sold a computer to somebody, and they, looking at the computer, had found that he had some child pornography on the computer. This is a police officer. So they ended up turning it into our chief's office, and he assigned it to a group of guys, and they did a search warrant on this house. And while they were doing a search warrant on it, he was being interviewed by the Alabama Bureau of Investigation, and he said he had to go to the bathroom and went and called his buddy upstairs and said, "Hey, go down to my apartment, get my computer, and hold it for me." Well, he didn't know it. They were doing a search warrant on his house, so they ended up getting him. He did, get this, he did 3 years federal probation. That's all he got. And then within 5 years, he went over to Mississippi and molested some kid, and now he's doing 40 years in federal prison right now in Mississippi over there, and that's where he needs to stay. Had a gun on him too, so that I hope he stays there. And then we had about 4 or 5 years later, I had ran across, when I was in narcotics, a picture of an officer holding some drugs up with some kids, and I thought that was real weird. I turned it in to the right people, and they just blew it off. Said, "Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing." So this guy ended up, about a year later, he got arrested for molestation of his own son. So, you can't tell. It could be cops. There's been preachers. There's been Catholic priests. There's been teachers. You just don't know who would do this sort of thing. So I don't, when I hear about something, I want evidence. Of course, I'm an evidence person. That's just like when people make all these claims about stuff that happen, I want evidence. No, just tell me, "Oh, that happened." I want evidence. Somebody show me the evidence. And I know Dina gets kind of, she gets kind of irritated at me sometimes because she'll believe something's happened a certain way, and I say, "Show me the evidence. If it's happening, I want the evidence. I don't want somebody to just say, I did this, I saw that, I did this. Show me the evidence. If you show me the evidence and I look at it and I believe it, then I can believe it." But it's just, um I don't know. I guess I've been that way ever since I was first got into law enforcement. Don't tell me that it's going on. I want to know. I want to know for sure before I start pointing my finger at it or believing something that I hear on TV or see on TV or anything. I want to know about it. Let's see here. I'm gonna check one other thing here. Well, they got a lot of good shows on Netflix right now. I can spend a lot of time in front of the TV, but I really don't need to be doing that. Let me look at these documentaries one other time. I can't imagine where I saw that. I want to say I thought it was on Netflix, and I thought, man, I gotta remember that to tell. There's one called The Hidden Lives of Pets. I'd like to watch that, but I can't watch it with Maggie in the room. She barks at the TV when dogs are up there. Let's see. I apologize. I should have got this out to start with. Nope. Well, they may have pulled it off, you know. That may have been one of those things where it was on there for a while, and you know, they didn't have a enough viewership or whatever, so they pulled it off. Yeah, y'all go over and subscribe to Red Jaguar's channel. I think Beach Bum just put it up there. He needs some subs, and we are at 968, I think, right now on our other channel. And what's lacking on there is I'm sure they will be over the 1,000 in the next couple of months. I don't understand why it's so slow, but hey, I can deal with it. But it's just some airtime. But yeah, if you would, subscribe if you're not already subscribed to our channels, and subscribe to his. Very good folks. And also Chasing RV Sunshine. That would be another one too. There, I don't know how many subs you guys got, but you know, we support all of y'all, and we look forward to getting up with y'all on the road and sitting down around the campfire and talking about stuff. All right, guys, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to end it tonight. So far, I apologize that Dina wasn't here. I have just had the horrible headache all day long. I don't know what it's from. I'm trying to think about what I've eaten. But I don't know. Something is really just hit me. I've had it, and nothing I take could get rid of it. So we wish y'all a great night, and we hope to see you next week. And go check out those other channels, and keep up with us on our other channel too. We're going to be going to Red Bay and have a lot of video over there. Hope to go to the Coon Dog Cemetery too. That's something I've been wanting to do. And also possibly somewhere else. We got the animals with us, so we got to keep them cool in the car if we go off anywhere. And just stay with us. We love y'all, and we hope that we see you down there and catch up with you next week. And if anything comes up, just email us at the missing livestream at gmail.com or at the 1 Million Mile Road Trip at gmail.com. And if we can help you any way we can, we will. God bless y'all, and have a great night.